Hello, everybody, and welcome to the match today. My name is Devin, and I'll be your caster today. And first off, we have HMS versus VC as our first match of the day. And so, immediate Yone ban we can see here. I actually, unfortunately, do not know anything about who plays who and what they play what, but I can tell you that Yone is a pretty snowbally champion, as is the Pantheon, who really can be flexed in 3 roles. Actually 4 if you think about it. You got the top lane, the jungle, the mid lane, and even though they did nerf it, you can pull off the support Pantheon. Yone, on the other hand, just insane mobility, insane damage when he's reached his full 2-item power spike. Shen, gonna be banned away as well. And we'll see what Downbed is looking for as his next ban, as VC collectively think about what HMS might want to play for victory. Using all of the timer to eventually agree to just ban out the Galio. So far now we're getting a lot of global champions being banned out. We have the Pantheon, who has obviously his Grand Skyfall. We have Shen with Stand United, and we also have Galio. And so yet another team fight champion is also going to be taken out there with Hecarim, who in general is just also just really, really good right now. A very popular solo queue champion, and has been seen a little bit in pro play. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to be the final ban, and what both teams are deciding to draft for themselves. And once again, they're using the full extent of their timer to eventually agree to yet another teamfight-oriented ban with the Malphite. And so, first pick is going to HMS, and they decide to lock in straight for potentially that Kai'Sa, who everyone knows is incredibly powerful right now. I mean, the numbers don't lie, folks. She is reaching 40 to 50% pick rates with respectively high win rates. Extremely popular in pro play. This champion is absolutely absurd. Even if you're not good at Kai'Sa, you could probably play her. And Wukong is being hovered over for down bad. A little bit unconventional in terms of meta, but not necessarily a terrible champion per se. And so that is the pick, and now Jose is going to be next. Perhaps he's going to go for a straight jungle pick. Maybe since the bot lane has already been picked out, they can think about just getting a counter pick out of there and force blue team to go in blind for the next pick. Seems like there's been a curing theme going on. VC using the full extent of their timer yet again. They go with the Zac this time, and so immediately we can see that we have some teamfight shenanigans with Wukong and Zac, but it's also a pretty good gank setup. Wukong obviously can just immediately dash in with his Cyclone, and Zac can just catapult himself into another knockup, so we get 2 knockups in a row, and so that top lane prowess can be pretty scary. On the other hand, though, the Kayn is going to be locked in, which is definitely more conventional in terms of the meta. One of the Gore Drinker champions, if you will, but at the same time, you don't have to go Gore Drinker Kayn. You can also go that Assassin Kayn that everyone knows and fears. And so Vancouver College, they also lock in that Crocodile with Renekton. And so, definitely a staple in the meta right now, and just in general, kind of just nasty. And I feel like it's going to be even harder now for Wukong to do much. Because, you know, every time that Wukong wants to dash in, he's going to have to immediately use his stealth. Otherwise, that Slice and Dice is going to just go straight for his soul and just get him stunned out. Now, Yasuo picked out. I feel like with the Wukong and the Zac, we're kind of, you know, setting ourselves up for a Yasuo very good setups for him looking, and the Lulu ban is actually really smart here because, as you can see, you got Wukong, Zac, Yasuo, 3 melee champions that really want to be in your face, and you know what is a melee champion's worst enemy? That's right, a 3-second polymorph that's point and click. And speaking of another point and click, we get the Lissandra. On Vancouver College side, or sorry, not Vancouver's College. On Hugh McRoberts' side, we have the Seraphine band out, which definitely makes sense. Incredibly strong champion and can definitely keep them healthy with just Moonstone as an item. How Moonstone has not been nerfed yet is a little bit funny if you ask me, but I'm not a professional game designer, so I can't say. The Velcalis will also be banned out. That one just makes perfect sense because the side of Kaisa, Kane, Renekton, we got these fairly squishy champions. Sure, there might be Gore Drinker users, but Vel'Koz is one of those damage champions that can just get Grievous Wounds because, you know, Oblivion Orb now gives a Grievous Wounds, which for just 800 gold, you're basically 40% squishier. So Misfortune will be locked in. The first champion we can see on the side of Hugh McRobert that doesn't have any sort of mobility, and ooh, actually the Scion is going to be picked in for VC. That's going to be interesting to see. And actually, you're going to also lock into Yuumi, so with that in mind, that's going to be King Maxi on the Renekton. Unless it's a Scion mid, but I feel like Renekton mid makes perfect sense when you're into a Yasuo. You can definitely use that point-and-click lockdown to just completely shut down his game plan. Now, Pork Malone is looking over for that Lux. We don't know if it's going to be a damage Lux or a utility Lux yet. They did nerf Shield Lux quite some time ago, but with the addition of Moonstone, actually no, it's just going to be the Nautilus. So even more gank setup for the Yasuo, and that just basically confirms my suspicion that they're just going to be a full in-your-face, all-in team on the side of Vancouver College. On the other hand, it's also pretty all-in on the side of HMS, so I feel like this is going to be a very fast-paced game, which definitely makes sense given the meta right now. A lot of these champions, they spike in the mid-game, but also really enjoy fighting each other in the early games, despite also just scaling really well with Moonstone, for example, for that Yuumi, or Yasuo, who is just Yasuo, obviously. And Kaisa, historically a very good late-game champion, but has also been pretty powerful in the early game, so shouldn't have too much of a trouble dealing with Misfortune, albeit Misfortune typically is a pretty good matchup for Darkstriker generally. It can be a hard time for Kaisa to deal with, but either way, we will be going into Spectator delay, and so I believe we're going to be stopping now and waiting into the next intermission. Yep. And we are back into the game. And so there was a bit of time, obviously, with the spectator delay, but finally we can now watch this one. And I was talking a little bit about this one with some other peers, about the matchup. It's going to be interesting seeing this all-in team from either side, because both of them incredibly aggressive teams, let's be real.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
No real disengage on either side, actually, now that you think about it. Real lack of defensive tools. I mean, you will see a relic shield and or not relic shield, a locket from Pork Malone, and you will see, obviously, Moonstone or just general healing things for Ghost. But that's about the extent of any sort of protection either of these teams are going to go. They're going to have to rely on
Minions have spawned.
Each other's damage, basically, as after all, the best sort of utility is killing the enemy team. And so, starting out, no invades or anything like that, which I suppose is not too surprising. I mean, Pork Malone is playing Nautilus, so we could have seen potentially the hook engage, but we are talking about Renekton and Scion here. Two very good champions at countering these invades. Even Kaisa is pretty good level 1 with her passive. And so they actually opt to leash out the King as opposed to just letting him solo clear, so they're not going to look for any advantages. Of course, with the Zac, he is incredibly good at ganking people that are pushed up because he can just hop over the wall in so many locations and just completely ruin their day with his W. And so far, I mean, we're only 2 minutes in, but already you can see people are starting to nickel and dime each other. Top lane, you can see Space Sofa losing a pretty hefty trade to Downbad. Of course, he does have quite a few pots on him, including those cookies, so you do see an inspiration tree from him, which hopefully will keep him safe, but again, Downbad is just going to go right in his face and already forcing him off of his wave. He did get level 2, and not much minions have died for him, so it's just going to be the damage that Downbad is going to get himself, which of course is nice. I mean, if he can keep up this pressure, Jose could even potentially go for a dive if he likes. And already we're seeing more action going on with Dark Striker bringing down Vivek to extremely low health, and now we got Downbad going back in, but Space Sofa a little bit late on the shield timing, but is still not entirely in the threat of dying. Zero is going to hopefully provide some assistance, but Downbad is already far away, but he decides to go back in. Space Sofa flashing out of the way, and now Zero is looking for Downbad. He still has the flash, but Zero will follow with him, and Space Sofa will aid Zero getting the first blood. And so Wukong is now going to lose his lead that he had on the top lane, and Zero is going to get on himself a very nice beginning kill. As for the mid lane, you know, actually, Ming Love not in too bad of a situation against this Renekton. I was talking about how Renekton might be a tough matchup for the Yasuo, but so far, nothing too bad. One thing it's also important to note is that Yasuo will shield, which obviously procs on any attack. If Maxi procs the shield with his Slice and Dice, which is, wait a second, actually hold the phone there. Downbad is, again, going to be in threat of getting ganked, but I think he's going to be fine. He only lost half of his health, and no Dark Harvest to speak of from Zero, so no point of continuing that one. Now, Ming Love, like I was saying, one thing interesting about the matchup is if Maxi decides to dash in and proc the shield, his W can actually just completely negate that Yasuo shield, because it breaks through shields, as you know. And so that could be a very interesting interaction and just completely mess up the side of Minglove and just VC in general. But so far, you know, even though Downbad was down, just the nature of Wukong against these kind of tank champions is always going to do quite nicely for himself. I mean, Space Sofa even, you know, panic locking in that control word because it was so scared of where the Wukong might be, or it was just a misclick, you never know. But either way, that's some gold going in the hands of Down Bad now. And so, looks like Zero is now actually looking potentially to set his eyes on that Ocean Drake. But Jose is around the area, and there is priority on the side of VC for bot lane. As is the nature with something like Misfortune and this engage support like Nautilus. And that's one thing about Yuumi, is it can be a little bit difficult for her to provide any real agency in the early stages of game in some matchups. Unless you're with another incredibly aggressive AD carry, or just like a general pusher like Caitlyn, for example, it can be tough for Kai'Sa. But on the other hand, though, we have Zero coming in. Jose is potentially reading this play, though. You can see him on the minimap there. On the other hand, though, King Maxi, he's finding himself a samurai for Jackus, but Maxi is going to try turning this around, and he actually might just win the all-in. They both just agree to walk away, not taking any more risks. Both the junglers, you can see there, were already walking up and getting ready for their match against each other. And so, the Ocean is on the menu for our first Drake, and actually, you could be seeing potentially a little fight continuing during this bot side river. And he's just gonna get spotted right away by Zero, who is up a level. All thanks to that one gank and the shared lane XP he got in the top lane. And so, looked pretty good on what's this generally slow starting jungler that is Kayn. He really isn't incredibly powerful. He's definitely like serviceable free form if you're good enough with him, but he's definitely going to hit an insane power spike. He already has the Iron Spike whip, I mean. And so he's looking very nice for himself. On the other hand, though, Jose, just sitting on those ruby crystals, is going to need quite some time before he can be really a threat in terms of the damage. Or just tankiness in general. And so, game is slowing down for a little bit, people taking their times to reset themselves, get their waves, and clear their jungle camps. But actually, here comes King Maxi trying to set up something for Zero in Space Sofa. Here comes the cavalry of the rest of the side, and Minglom actually trying to trade his life for King Maxi, but isn't quite able to finish it. Zero getting himself a second kill of the match. And the only kills in the match, mind you. So this Kayn is going to be massive going into the mid game. And is just going to, or should be able to have full control of this dragon despite this early agency bot lane. And now Space Sova, he is going to be pushed in, but there's no assistance from Jose, and so he actually might just be in another bad position. Down bad. Potentially going to be scared for his life, but Zero running low HP, but he is going to use his ultimate to keep himself safe, and there you go, a killing spree for Zero. We didn't know, and Jose, all he can do is just clear his jungle and hope for another opportunity elsewhere on the map. I feel like, I'm not sure, I feel like he might get a lot of agency if he played for the bot side of the map or looked for a tower dive on this Sion. But on the other hand, actually, Jose is going to be forced to actually just go back to his tower after being spot out by Zero. And so, already, even though it's only a 1k gold lead, that 1k gold lead is just looking massive as Zero asserts his dominance in the bot lane, or in the jungle, sorry. It is quite surprising, though, to say that Minglove is actually doing quite a good job in the mid lane. King Maxi, he got this counter pick for himself with the Renekton, and it's not really paying off just yet. I mean, there's still a lot of time yet. He's yet to get his Gourd Drinker. He's yet to really put in more points into his Call the Meek, which is his W, I believe. I forgot the ability name. But either way, his W. That one is going to be what's especially terrifying for Mingla to deal with. It is Conqueror Renekton as well, so he is going to be actually scaling just fine in this matchup. And Minglove, see, you can see right there, he's taking a huge chunk from this Renekton. The Ignite advantage, though, on Minglove does mean this could be potentially good for him. Down bad does get spotted out as they do decide to move on for this Ocean Drake. And I do like this from the side of VC. I did mention that bot lane has been having agency pretty much the entire time, which gets them first dibs on this play to the bot side. That said though, Zero up a level, so he does have a smite advantage, and it's very difficult to force this Kane off of the smite, and here comes the fight, but the last breath from Minglove prevents any sort of comeback into this play, and a great stuff from Down Bad and the rest of VCD. They bring this up right back into this game, and they bring Wukong back into his lane. He is doubling, almost doubling the CS of Space Sofa, and so even though Kane was looking disgusting with that Gore Drinker, he wasn't able to do anything with it. A beautiful lockdown from Minglove is going to seal them the deal, and just a great engage in general from the side of BC to set him up for that. And so we're going to take a break from a bit of action going there, but definitely just a completely one-sided team fight for VC. Which is a little bit concerning because even though Renekton doesn't necessarily do too bad later stages in the game. Oh wait, actually, hold the phone. Pokemon alone might be in a bit of a trouble. And there you go. Yeah, Nivek is able to lock him down. Nice stuff. Now, Dambad, again, going to continue his agency in this lane. He already has Divine Thunderer, which is a perfect purchase against this tanky Scion. Only with the Bramble Vest, he's already actually taking a decent amount of damage, as Wukong does have innate Armor Shred, and the Divine, of course. You can see on the top side of the map, though, they're already going for the Rift Herald, and this is before plates, and or before plates end. So they might be able to actually just get themselves a kill worth of plates if they keep this up. There is a fat wave that Minglove does have to catch, and so I do believe that this is going to be brought to the top lane. Yeah, you can see Jose is already moving towards the Space Sofa, and this is what I was hoping for. I want to see Downbad and Jose work together to dive the Scion, but it actually might just be a backfiring, because Jose is going to get teleported on, and there you go, actually, just a flub. Oh wait, actually survives for a bit longer, and on the bot side, we have the complete opposite happening, but this time it works out just fine for Zero. And so, some misplays from both sides of the map, in a micro sense. Downbad, he is able to get himself some sort of consolation prize, but he is also going to fall, and that's actually a shutdown for this. That's a shutdown for the Space Sofa, and a double kill for Minglove too. So all over the map, just action going on. 3 for 3 is your final kill count on both sides. What did I say though? This game was going to be incredibly hectic. I was actually surprised that earlier stages in the game were a little bit slow. And this is exactly what I was expecting. Them just to be endlessly fighting each other. And actually a disconnect from Space Sofa. They might have to request a pause for this one. Oh, no, should be okay. Just perhaps a bit of a ping spike. But either way, like I was saying though, just a high action game already. 7-6. I mean, if it was solo queue, that wouldn't look like that much. But when we're talking like these coordinated teams, or trying to beat coordinated teams, just a lot of action going on already. And Space Sofa, he's already going to be jumped on again. Downbad has been doing a great job in this matchup, despite dying a few times to ganks. He's been continuing to keep up the pressure, not being discouraged from his general game plan, which is to bully just Scion. And you can definitely see that in the CS difference. That is almost just 2 kills, almost 2 kills in CS. And he already got himself a couple of plates as well, so yeah, again, Downbad with the Divine Sunder is just going to look so good. And Space Sofa did opt for that, for the Bramble Vest and the Ninja Toppies, which obviously are very good lane items, but it delays his Sunfire by quite a lot. And when you delay your Sunfire, it's going to be quite some time before he's a threat of his own. Now, Minglov is actually going to be jumped on by King Maxi, immediately gets knocked out, and Minglong opting not to use the last breath, but look at the bush, here comes Jose, going on to King Maxi, and he's going to take his life. Minglov now on a rampage as Darkstrider is all alone in the spot lane and too far up. Where is your support, buddy, and why are you so far up there without him? He is going to fall as well, and Nivek now taking over the spot lane as with those items is now just online. So Pork Malone setting up Vision at a time where the dragon would spawn, which I like, but unfortunately Darkstriker not respecting the potential engage from this Taisa and Ghost Yumi squadron, and so he's just going to fall for that one. And there you go, 2 dragons going on the side of VC. It's also very appreciative that they finally let us see which team has all the dragons on Spectator, because there has been quite a while where you couldn't see who has how many dragons on the side, and I would have to just keep tracking them on my own, or, you know, just guess. So it's nice to see that in LCS fashion, the score count shows him. Actually, hold up. Down Bad is going to get knocked down again. I've seen this before. This happened like, I don't even know, like 3 minutes ago. But this time, Down Bad, you know, he got those kills during that dragon fight, and he's going to keep himself alive potentially. The knockup, though, from Zero is going to get himself a tasty monkey for breakfast. Or dinner, because it is like 5 o'clock. And so, though that said, though, Down Bad, you can see that he's running away with this. You do not want to go 1-for-1 against a gank like that. It might have been a bit of a shutdown, but still, it wasn't really a true kill bounty on the side of Down Bad. And so, again, yeah, just get himself that 1-for-1 is going to keep himself ahead, as well as just buying time for Jose to do whatever he likes. Now, they do spot King Maxi heading towards the bot side, and Minglove is continuing to exert pressure elsewhere on the map, but on the other hand, though, the spot side, we're going to be potentially in a bit of a pickle for a fight. Minglove, though, actually just going to jump on Space Sofa, but that is a tanky boy, and here comes Zero. He's going to his favorite lane in the game, which is the top lane. And that might just be Minglove's life. But actually, wait a second, on the other side of the map, we're going to be seeing our own fight going on. I guess it's a to be continued. Oh, where did Down Bad come from? There we go. Thank you, camera, for giving me that one. Letting me know that the king indeed get matched by Down Bad. That said, though, 1-for-1 so far, and Zero actually thinking about fighting this one, despite the fact that he is against a fed monkey. He is forced to go off. Yes, the Kane is also incredibly ahead. Always counterpart. But we are talking jungler versus top laner here. I do feel like I would give the upper hand to this drain-taking monkey. Reject humanity. Return the monkey. It's looking more like reject the Scion ogre thing. Return the monkey. Based on his performance going on right now. Zero, though, he is trying to find himself more, and as the camera decides to show us that Ghost is indeed clearing a ward. Thank you, camera. We now know that Ghost cleared a ward. There we go. Now we're getting some final action going on there. Gonna stun the clone, though, so Down Bad. He's not quite out of there yet. Oh, the max range knockup from Zero might just seal his fate. King Maxi is going to have his dash up, and he's going to stun up Down Bad, and Down Bad is now sad as he finds himself on the fountain and a gray skein beforehand. Minglove now just has to watch his friend die there and just collect the wave in complete sadness, if you will, as he saw his friend unfortunately fall to a giant crocodile. And so this match is incredibly hectic already. I've already said that quite a few times, and I might be sounding like a broken record, but it's making it very difficult to keep track of what's going on, as any fight that happens, immediately the camera is going to pan to yet another fight going on, because that's just what the nature of these teams are. Once again, I said, they want to keep themselves occupied with these skirmishes, but at the same time, again, they do have very good 5v5s as well. Lots of ways to just completely pop off if they pull things properly for each other. The dragon is going to be spawning soon, and it is a Cloud's map. Hold up, actually, Minglove is going to be spotted up by Zero, and here comes the tank engine. Not actually a tank engine, more like a lumberjack, but he's going to get himself a tree to chop down regardless. And then he looks at the tree and he says, oopsies, that wasn't a tree, it was a samurai. So there you go, Space Sofa. You know, actually, bringing himself back into this lane, he did lose quite hard for a lot of this, but if you can see the items, he has the Sunfire. He's not trailing too far behind in items at the moment. And he even has a bounty on himself, so yeah, like I said, Space Sofa, not too bad. There is no Scion ultimate in this fight, so with that in mind, that's just going to be a free dragon for the side of Vancouver College. And so we got ourselves a dragon power fight going on. It's not quite the soul, but it's still 3 dragons, and we actually have a team fight going on, and Vivek is going to be forced to flash out of the way, and Zero is trying to drain tank as long as possible. Maxi in the middle of everybody, trying to cut down everyone he can, and is successfully doing so. That is with Fortune and Zack falling down. Minglove has to run for his life from this crocodile himself, and there goes the team fight. Down bad now, has to find himself something, but he does not have his ultimate, is forced to run away despite the low health from Nivek. He tries to roll back in, and Nivek, stepping a little bit too forward, is going to find himself a gray screen as well. Down bad is down bad and sad as he finds himself in the base yet again. Has died quite a lot this match, but as you all know, KDA is just a number. He has very much been a very large factor of this team, but not enough, as that matchup was incredibly on the side of HMS. And just beautiful retaliation for them. They are potentially getting sold on by Vancouver College, but they are able to just pick themselves up and win a very crucial team fight, playing around their item power spikes very nicely, as we do have the Gore Drinker on King Maxi, that tabbies, and just keeping himself healthy for so long, and also just being level 14 in general. Exactly where Renekton is going to be just the biggest threat. I remember a while back, somebody always told me that Renekton is a mid-game champion that's so powerful in the mid-game that it spills into the early game, and I feel like that's precisely what Renekton is. He's definitely a bully in the early game, but he only gets stronger all until people start getting their 4th or 5th items. And we're really seeing that on display here, despite a bit of a rocky start. And so a bit of a downtime. You know, we have quite a few people chilling around here on this dragon side, fighting for vision despite the fact that there's no dragons to speak of for quite a few minutes. The Baron is up, so they could be diverting their attention towards that instead, but instead they're going to assign each other to lanes, potentially. Yeah, we have Space Sofa already in the top lane, Down Bad's going to respond, and on the other side of the map we have Nivek catching this wave, and Dark Striker staying with his team so he doesn't repeat the same mistake of getting caught out on his own. And you know, actually, just in general, this is an incredibly even match. The gold lead at this point really doesn't mean anything. In terms of items, power spikes, and those dragons to also factor in, it's an incredibly close game. And now we actually do see Kaisa getting caught out. There's no vision on the side of HMS, and so that's going to be 2 kills potentially. No, okay, Zero able to save his own kitty there, just in time. Down Bad finally able to destroy that top tower, potentially in a bit of a pickle. He does have the Gore Drinker, but, or not the Gore Drinker, the Divine Sunderer, but Space Sofa turning himself around that is a tower, but it's also betrayed for his life. So a complete 180 from what we were originally seeing in that matchup. Down bad though, he does have his Death Dance, so against this full, when we're talking about this full HP comp from HMS, it's great to see. Oh, he actually lands a tornado, and there's the last breath, and the entire team of BC coordinating beautifully with each other, and now they're going to find themselves Zero to take down. Space Silver trying to teleport in. Look at the drain tanking going on from Zero. He's able to find himself anything. Yes, he is, potentially. But that said, though, it's still 4 for 2. Look at the health bars just blinking red so low. And there we go. More downtime to follow for just a little bit. I mean, the dragon's up in 20 seconds, and that vision control, it looks actually pretty even. I mean, the bot side, you can see, is mostly red-oriented, but you can see a few defensive wards, and you do have multiple people pathing towards there, so HMS, they do have death timers still going on right now, but they might be able to prevent the soul pain from going off. I mean, Jose is not even in position to start the dragon just yet, as is the rest of VC. And so, this is actually most definitely going to be a team fight going on, because there's no way that Nivek is going to let a team that is so focused on hard engage like VC's to just get the soul for free. That's like the worst soul you could give away for this team comp. Especially with how they've been playing, just complete aggression and complete coordination. And so they're going to start off, it's going so low so quickly, and here comes the team fight. It is going to be secured from Jose, and that means the soul is for this fight. Pork Malone trying to lock down Nivek, while the rest of the teams are just drain taking each other. Minglov staying alive, going on to the Gore Drinker. And there you go, just a complete team fight sweep for the side of VC. Space Silver is going to force his flash out of that pit, and Downbad is going to just let him go away, as now they set their eyes onto that Baron. And so really nicely done there from the side of VC. And now we got ourselves what looks like it's going to be a Baron Power Play, sponsored by absolutely nobody, but we can assume that we're getting some sponsorship potentially. Maybe it's Red Bull, maybe it's Blue Bull, you never know. Maybe it's sponsored by Samuel himself. The great Samuel himself, even though his team is actually in a bit of shambles right now. Maybe he swapped teams after seeing its performance going on from BC, as they're in perfect coordination of each other. I mean, the kill count is basically even, but KDA always is never a good way to determine how well people are doing. If you look at that gold lead, it's looking massive. And if you look at the items, I mean, it might not look too bad for now, but with that soul and the huge amount of tankiness that's from Jose, it's going to be terrifying if you're Nivek and Ghost. I mean, I feel like Ghost actually should be staying on these drain tankers like Zero or Maxi. I mean, he has the Moonstone, so he can definitely keep these guys alive for a long period of time. Nivek, I feel like it's a bit of a distraction for the most part. Especially in this stage of the game where the 80 carries aren't completely online just yet. He is looking to get that Hourglass, actually, not even opting for the stopwatch initially, so he is going to potentially keep himself a bit safer with that purchase, but at the expense, his damage is going to be quite neutered. That said, though, it is magic damage, and that is one thing that the side of HMS do lack, which is any sort of magic damage threat. I mean, the most you have is Paisa, but she's hybrid for the most part. In fact, you can argue she's mostly AD nowadays because of her build path. It's just entirely focused on attack damage and being traditional AD carry with the Collector as well. And so Dark Striker, on the other hand, it doesn't really look like much of an item lead, but he does have that Executioners, which is going to be very, very nice against this Moonstone. And just, yeah, in general, actually, really nice itemization coming in from VC, recognizing how much healing they have. Hold up, actually. Jose is going to find himself an entire team, but that might not be actually a fight that HMS wanted to take when they are still on this they're in power play. And so they're gonna try just forcing it down mid again. We do have down bad pushing out the bot lane, and I don't think Nivek is enough to answer this Wukong because of just how powerful he is at this point of the game. He is up an item right now on Space Sofa, despite looking a bit lost for a second in the matchup. Space Sofa, speaking of which, he's gonna find himself a whole team to go through, but with that unstoppable Scion ultimate, he should be okay. Down bad though, he's not stopping for anything. He's gonna go in for that Cyclone, and he's going to find himself a full team. That secondary Cyclone was absolutely amazing, and just completely sets up Mingla for that last breath. We got ourselves a complete domination after what was looking like a completely even game. But on the other hand, it's just those team fights. They just went completely in the favor of this side of VC. Just doing a great job of capitalizing on the fact that the side of HMS have been grouped up for pretty much the entire game and just staying near each other. Which I don't blame them, because there's also great pick potential with the Zac and everyone else. Oh. We actually have a bit of a freeze going on. But that should most definitely be the end of the game. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I guess we're just stalling the inevitable right now, because this should definitely be just the end of it all for the side of HMS. They should be able to just push it into the end, because they have very healthy health bars. They didn't lose anything pretty much in that team fight aside from their ultimates. And so it should just be a free win at this point. They have a minion wave and everything. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I think, judging by what's going on, I think that should be it. There's no typing going on or anything, so I'm assuming the replay is over, potentially. Maybe we'll have to look into the teams to see what's going on themselves, to figure out what's going on. Oh, I heard something. I think the replay might have ended. All right, apologies. We did have a bit of a technical difficulty with the replays going on there, but at the end of the day, the result was the same. I mean, we just saw VC getting ready to push towards the victory there, and at the end of the day, it is going to be Vancouver College winning that one with what was initially a very close game. It was initially very even and very back and forth. So we saw the top side of the map getting dove, and then we saw the bot side of the map getting dove. But at the end of the day, it became those dragon fights and those differences in those dragon buffs themselves, as well as just as really good engages from the side of Down Bad, Jose, and Pork Malone, setting up Ming Love to just wreak havoc, who really got away in what should have been a counter pick matchup with King Maxi. And so at the end of the day, yeah, just really well played team fight is what ended up being the difference maker in this matchup. And so great job to VC, and that'll be it for this one. I'd like to thank you all for joining in for this matchup, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Devin signing off. See you.